Don't do that, fam. Don't do that.
Holy
Yo.
shit! Holy shit! No! Oh! Holy shit! Anyway,
Chat.
yes, y'all. You are now tuned into the Melodrama Podcast, episode number 32.
That's Magic Johnson, no.
You know what I'm saying? I go by the name of Speak Easy. I'm joined by Dima on the 28s and 29s. We got Big Trip, and then we got JG. And
Triple
this episode is there's CP time, and then there's JG time.
Yeah.
My brother JG is a prophet, and pretty much like before we started, he sent us a group message. He said, "My brethren, I may not come when you call, but I'm always on time." I was like, hold up.
Oh,
DMX been biting my nigga JG. Like,
all this
what?
time, fam.
All this time, fam.
Try to tell
Like,
you.
I
yo.
may not come when you call. But I'm always on time.
Yo. Man,
Come on,
hey,
man.
yo, fam. What the hell kind of dog is that supposed to be, man? That's like the most non-menacing dog bark, fam.
The DMX gives all these.
Yeah.
Hey, but here's the thing, though.
DMX got a little purse dog, fam.
Dude, but the thing is, we have been rolling with it for all these years.
Like, that's some gangster shit.
all these years.
You know why?
He said he sound like a purse dog.
He
I
do,
think,
fam.
and I think it's supposed to be like a Rockwaller or something. Because that's what he usually have in the videos, like Rockwaller.
I thought he was a
don't
pit
sound
bull
like
guy.
that, fam. They got a little more bass in their voice.
I thought he was a pit bull guy. No,
I don't. You know what? If he,
I
if
thought
it,
Boomer was a pit bull. That nigga had Boomer tattooed on his back. That was a pit bull.
but you know what? If he's a pit bull, then that might be the right bark.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
some
Hold up.
pits. Some pits have a high pitched bark.
Rose
Actually-
is it's so high pitched. Blur your
Really?
ears out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna
But
say,
she's
well,
young too. I don't know.
well, I know, Trouble, who also is the fifth mic on the Melodrama podcast.
He just
Trouble's
got
got like
kicked out, man.
Trouble's got like a James Earl Jones.
That's what
bark.
That's what I'm saying.
Trouble's like Trouble barks like this. All right, nigga. Like,
That's what I'm saying, dog. Like,
Trouble
yo.
also snores, nigga. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yo,
man, nigga,
Yo.
I be in the living room and shit, and then nigga be on the love seat, but you can't see him because he laying down, and all you hear is, like, who the
Dude.
fuck in the house?
I have a little ass dog, and my dog does that shit. My dog does that shit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Man,
Like, what are you
why
doing?
you so tired? You ain't even got no job. Man.
Right, right. I'm like, what are you exhausted for? And, and holy shit, you know, that actually is a conversation in our house. It's like, well, because, so my kids don't go to bed till, 3, 4 in the morning, right? So the
Yeah.
dog,
Dope.
so the
So the
dog,
dog stay up.
yeah, the dog stays up, right? But then when my wife gets
So
up,
dope.
then the dog gets up. So, and then she's like laying around, and it's like, well, she's just tired because she's been up all night. I'm like, she don't work third shift, bro. Like, she don't.
She
Like,
kind of do.
and then I'm like,
Because-
but when somebody comes to the door, she doesn't do her job. She just goes, what the fuck is that? I'm like-
DMX dog.
Exactly.
Hey, but Demon, my kids do. I think my kids do sell dope. Them motherfuckers trap. They some trap guys, man. Since school been out,
Yeah.
man. Hey, them
Ah.
motherfuckers go. I get up to leave for work, and them motherfuckers be like, "Good night, pops." That's when they go to bed and shit.
Yeah.
All night,
Dude.
my dude. What the
So yes, so I wake up early, bro. So I wake up sometimes at like 3 or 4 because I can't sleep. So I'll watch. That's when I watch my serial killer show, Dexter, on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then but I'll be coming downstairs to watch Netflix, and my son will be going to bed, and I'm like, and he'll be like, "What are you doing awake?" I'm like, "What the fuck
Then
you
he
doing
just-
awake?"
Then he just fan his money out like I'm getting this guap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
I'm at my
Like-
paper pops.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Man.
Yeah, because me and my son, we have shifts in the man cave. So like this is my time. I got like from like 8 in the morning till about 3. give or take an hour. My son has from about 3 p.m. to
like 3 in the morning
3 a.m. Somehow.
with a food break every hour.
Yes. And then it's like, oh, can y'all buy some of these? And then back down to the man cave. What?
Man, why is this motherfucker making hamburgers and shit, man, like 4:30 in the morning?
Right.
And shit? Like, nigga, it's breakfast.
Right. And my son bakes and shit. He was like, yeah, well, I thought I would just make some brownies at 2. Bro.
Hey, man.
They be good in the motherfucker though.
I smacked some of the brownies too though. But when I come up in the morning one night, man, I can still smell the brownies in the house and shit because he just made them like 15 minutes ago. I'm getting ready to get dressed for work. I look at the pan, dude. It's a 1-inch ring all the way around the pan.
Because they done dug the middle out.
The whole middle out, right? Hey, but at least he was nice enough to make all his cuts all the way to the edge. So I had me a bunch of little brownie cubes and shit. It was crunchy and shit. I was mad as hell. And he scratched the pan all up, dog. But that's how, I mean, you know, they trapping,
disrespectful, man.
Right.
Just disrespectful, dude.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just,
man.
that boy funny, dude.
That's what happened during this quarantine, fam. That the kids are running the asylum. They took over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
because I don't give a damn. No
hey, I you know what? I stopped buying like the cookies and shit, and I just buy the shit that they can bake on their own. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
just the brownies and the cookie mix and shit.
Oh wow!
And right. So like, I leave and I come back and there be brownies in the oven, and sometimes it's Junior, and sometimes it's Baby Girl.
Yeah.
Or Baby Girl will come down and she'll make peanut butter cookies and shit. Like, yeah, all the time.
But Trip,
that's leveling up. That's
Trip,
a parent level up. Okay.
Trip can vouch for this. When I smell the cookies baking, I come in to get me some, and it ain't none.
Man.
Hold up. So you got full-fledged aroma. It ain't that damn morsel in sight.
Man.
Dog, who made cookies? Me, I did. Where they at? I ate them.
We ate them.
No, nigga. I ate them. Dog, you ate the whole pack? It was only 12.
Dude, so my daughter was like,
damn, them motherfuckers greedy, dog.
She's like, my daughter's like, how you make peanut butter cookies? And I said, you want to make the amount I made? She's like, yeah. So I told her how much to put in, right? So I'm thinking she finna make like 2-3 dozen, because that's usually what I make. Nigga, she made the biggest peanut butter cookies in the world. Like, she got like a whole 9 cookies.
She made peanut butter pancakes.
2-hand cookies. Fam eating 2-handed cookies, man. The handles on them and shit. Like,
he said, come in and deliver. What you eating? Cookies.
Dude.
Yo, hey, you supposed to put your dinner on top of the cookies, man. You know?
Man.
Dog said she made 9 cookies. Oh, man. Hey, so dog, that's one more thing I gotta add to the list, man. Now I can no longer just buy two packs of them cookies, dude.
Wow.
Eat the whole pack. So.
Dude said it was only 12.
Dog said it was only 12.
Man.
That made sense, fam.
Wow.
What's the last thing you ate 12? Like, dog, if I sit down with a bag of Doritos, I might eat 12.
Right. And nowadays, if you get an individual pack, it's only 5 in there.
It's about this much air and shit.
5 chips and 3 crumbs.
Right. That motherfuckers be like, well, the chips settle. The bag's full, but the chips.
Really?
Nobody believe that shit.
See? And that's why people no longer want to settle down. Look at them chips.
Hey, the only motherfucker that don't do that, y'all ever had them Uncle Ray's?
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I had them.
You only gonna find them like in the gas station,
right?
Maybe your hood grocery store.
Okay.
Speak. Whatever dog need to put the flavor in all caps with like 12 exclamation points after the flavor.
Because the flavor be strong.
Man. This motherfucker dog, however much salt
the potato
and pepper.
Chips got that loud.
Dog. I'm telling
Or
you,
as
fam.
kids call it now, gas.
Hey, I think that's a bag of seasoning with a couple chips in it. It's like that, fam.
This second I get some
So good.
seasoning and potatoes.
Nah, but they,
It's like
but they good
you
as
eat the
hell,
chips
dog.
and then you spend like the next 10 minutes licking your fingers.
And drinking water. Dog, I bought the salt and pepper once, nigga. I thought I was gonna die. My arms started shriveling, fam. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I ain't never had this much salt in my fucking life, man. Dog took like 3 whole meals worth of salt. Oh, 1 bag of chips, fam. That shit was salt and pepper.
The little lady on the box, she done poured out the whole damn box of them chips.
Man, I'm
What
telling
flavor
you, dog,
chips is them? High blood pressure.
Man, I'm telling you. Dog, motherfucker eat like 3 chips and you get to grab your heart and shit like, man, goddamn.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
But I finished that bag, though. Them
He
motherfuckers
said, like a player.
Man, it's just plenty extra. Like they should like extra double flavor, dog. On every single flavor.
Yeah.
But they good in the mug, though. Yeah. So Uncle Ray's, you owe the Melodrama podcast by $150.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? At least a year supply. A year supply that high blood pressure.
Yeah, you can definitely send them chips. No, they put so much flavor on their chips. I'm scared to eat the hot ones. Like, I'm not even buying them over. Like you might open that bag and it'll be a fire in the bag and shit.
I tried the hot ones, dude. It took me like an 8-hour shift.
Man, that's what I'm saying, dog. I'm scared of them.
What are they called? The hot ones called the ghost of ghost pepper?
Man,
dog, I'm cool on them, but all the rest of them is fire. You check them out, man. But get you a big ass jug of water, my nigga.
A big jug of water. Well, if you can't tell, this is definitely the mellow portion of the podcast. So another thing that's gonna we talked a little bit before we started recording. NBA season is back. NBA, it's official, or it's almost official, I should say. But
that didn't sound like DMX, Phil. That don't sound like DMX.
That is James Earl Jones.
Telling you.
Hey, the funny part is he
DMX
outside.
has a purse dog.
He outside, G.
Hold up, he all the way outside.
He outside?
Yeah.
Look,
he
man,
in the backyard.
If I ever meet DMX in person, I'm gonna ask him to show me the dog, man. Show me the dog you impersonating, fam. I bet you he gonna unlock his or unzip his MCM man purse, and that motherfucker gonna be in there like with a bow on his ear.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be a chihuahua.
That's what I'm saying, dog.
Like JG, be my dog.
Like where his whole body gonna be bald and then his tail gonna be fluffy and some shit like that. That's one of them dogs, man. That motherfucker we just heard bark, that's not a DMX dog. That's not what DMX do it, fam. I'm sorry. That sound like a real ass dog.
Yo, Trip Dog.
That's why I ain't coming to your house, though. Even though you say he don't bite, I ain't coming in, man.
Hey, look. Trip is my brother. I don't go. I told you that. I don't go in his house. Yo, his dog sat next to Barry White in cry rehearsal.
I'm telling you, dude.
Hey,
his dog like
Roof. Remember the day that the cable dude came to install the Wi-Fi? That nigga Trouble was in the cage, but Trouble was in the cage like, if y'all move, I'm gonna bust out this cage and fuck dude up. Like he was biting the door on the cage. He was pulling it. Like literally, I had to have my daughter sit next to the cage so he'll sit down.
Wow.
Because we were still moving shit in the house.
That's funny.
Wow, dude.
Dog,
and the cable dude kept trying to ask me questions. I was like, dude, look, whatever you got to do to put the Wi-Fi in the house, do it. As quick as possible.
Man, hurry the hell up.
Because I don't know how long I can keep you safe.
Dude, and I became an ally with the dog. That was the best day of my life. I was like, wait, the dog is no longer side-eyeing me. And I was looking at the cable man like, yeah, you better go, fam.
Yeah,
it ain't safe no more. I was looking like, I said, because we don't play that. Like, no.
Dog, hey Trip, one of your family members put a picture on Facebook, and I think the caption was some shit like, "All my brothers and sisters, there's a bunch of little kids," And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna see some Trip baby pictures. I'm gonna give me some jokes, right? And then but I couldn't. I was looking for you, and there was one motherfucker like squatting down, hugging a dog and shit. And I was like, that's gotta be Trip and shit. That's gotta be Trip, dude.
Was it my sister?
Yeah.
You're not gonna see no pictures of me with my sisters.
No?
No.
So that wasn't you holding the dog?
No. We all look
Man,
alike,
you should
though.
just let me have that one. Now we got to put your family business out on the
He
podcast.
said you should have let me have that one.
We all look alike. I mean,
one,
it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing to put out on the block. So
okay. So you
my dad,
you the family that was around the corner that didn't nobody know about?
Oh my
no,
God.
see,
Oh, good. Yeah,
my dad passed when I was 3.
Okay.
But before he passed, he didn't get a chance to introduce all of us.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Because he was sick. So he had like tumors on his brain, so his memory would come and go, and like, you know, he had like mood swings because of the pressure from the tumors or whatever. So he had 5 girls from his first marriage. He had me with my mom, and then right before he died, he managed to have one more kid.
Mm-hmm.
So my auntie, she's passed away now, but my auntie is the one who introduced all of us. But by the time we all met, I was like 18.
Oh, no, this wasn't you.
Right,
Okay.
right. My sisters were grown, and then my brother's like 3 years under me. He was like maybe 15.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that wasn't me. Like the funny part is that we didn't know that we were so close because all my sisters are right in Chicago.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we should have been introduced, but you know, black people don't communicate like that.
Like
But
I said, family be the family, you know, right around the corner. Don't nobody know about except grandma and shit.
Dude, and you know the funny thing, all this talk about dogs, and then like in the background, Dima's tending to his dogs. Like this is divine intervention, man.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So like, believe it or not, we actually started talking about the NBA.
Dog, hold on. That's the second time, fam. That's the second time I done made a statement, asked a question, man, thinking I'm finna get some jokes, and then brought out fucked up family history, fam. Like,
Hey, hold up. This might be a segment on the podcast now.
Dog. You know what I'm saying? Remember the porn star?
Now we're gonna go to JG.
Remember the porn
JG's
star,
gloom and doom.
No. I'm finally, because every dude in the world with a daughter has always wanted to know how a dad would feel about that. And what did she say, dog, as soon as I asked that question? That's it. He died. God damn, man. I'm not asking no more damn questions on this show.
Hey,
man.
Instead of fix your life, this is JG's make your life worse.
Make your shit worse, man. You know what I'm saying? She's like, he died when I was a baby. I never knew him. Like,
now it's some pictures out there, but my cousin don't post pictures like that. She got pictures of us.
Okay.
You know, when we was little and like my body was small and my head was big.
Like little dudes are, fam. When you a little dude, you gonna be big. That's how you look.
Man, look like a bobblehead.
That's right. It'd be like, you gonna grow into it. I'm like, did you say you gonna grow into it?
You gonna grow into it?
That's what
you gonna grow into it.
Yo, dude, there's so many black like hood euphemisms, dog.
Bro.
It's the you gonna grow into it. What about so there's this urban legend. It's not big boned, it's big boned.
Yeah. That's different.
How do you spell big boned?
BONEDED, duh. Yeah.
You see how that just rattling?
Yeah.
So big boned it, looked it,
yep.
did it.
Yes. Yeah, dude.
Went it.
These hood euphemisms, man.
Big
I swear,
boned
dude.
Dog.
Hey, eventually I make it into the dictionary. Quit playing. Bling bling.
Yeah, true indeed.
Finna.
What was the other? I think somebody said something. Ain't it one about you ain't supposed to like touch potatoes while you pregnant or something? Dude,
I don't know, man.
It's if you touch the potatoes while you pregnant, then the baby gonna have potato head or something like that. Dog. I'm not bullshit, dog.
That is awesome. I've never heard that
I'm
one.
not bullshit.
Oh,
Hey, but
Man,
dog.
the women don't sit their purse on the floor.
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Oh
Can't
my
do that.
gosh. Do
Can't
not.
do that.
So the funny thing is, because this is how I was raised, right? So like my wife is Filipina. So like one day we talking or whatever, and like she put her purse down. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Trying to
She's
fuck
like,
our money up.
I was like, what are you doing? Why would you? Look, if you put your purse on the floor, that means you're gonna have financial. She was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like that's a real thing, bro.
In Russia, it's if you whistle inside the house.
That's one.
You're gonna
That's
blow your
one
money
too.
away.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we can't whistle in the house.
We could not whistle in the house.
I still don't know why. It might have just been because Pops didn't want to hear that shit. But it was
Dude.
Definitely a rule.
Fam, we couldn't even eat now laters in the house. My grandma used to say, and my grandma was Christian woman. Trip will tell you, but when somebody's eating now laters in the house, she like, get outside that stinking ass candy.
You gotta put that in your pocket now.
Oh man.
Hey,
Hey.
stinking ass candy. Oh, that shit funny, man.
Oh my god.
Damn, I love
But
now
even-
laters. Oh.
Man.
I did too, and I had to eat the motherfuckers outside.
Yep.
Hey, but
What you
remember
do?
remember our English teacher, Ms. Loss?
Yes.
We
Yes.
would eat either annihilators or what was it, that gum in the classroom?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, who has the baby poop gum?
Yes.
Bubblicious or some shit.
Man.
He said, "What flavor is that? Bubble guts."
Oh, shit. Oh, that's
NBA.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
NBA.
Hold up. So does this mean we don't give a fuck about the NBA that much?
man.
Look, man,
I don't, because I really, really do. But
Like,
I told
that's
you.
hey, but funny is
So-
funny, fam.
Here's my standpoint on it, and I was telling you before. I think all Bucks fans should lobby that there not be a season, and that the Bucks and just get like
interesting take.
a shared championship with the Lakers or something.
Mhm.
Because I think the people's like excited and think like, yeah, this is the Bucks year. And you know what? Maybe if the season continued as a regular season, but now like you just gave a motherfucker, like you can't deny who LeBron is, and you just gave this motherfucker 3 months to get fresh legs
Yeah,
to come
Man.
to a fucking. It's pretty much a tournament.
because Brian has a hoop at his crib.
Right.
Giannis didn't,
Man.
but Brian does.
So
Brian
on top
got
of
a
that,
hoop.
on top of Giannis not having one, Bron had a jump shot before the pandemic.
Yeah,
Giannis didn't.
yeah.
Who needed the court more?
He was working on it.
Who needed the court more?
Not only did LeBron have a hoop, but LeBron might have moved his starting five into his house. It was like, nigga,
And they still could have social distanced this shit.
Nigga, we quarantined here in LA.
He was like, you and your family on this wing, you and your
Man.
family on this wing. It's that one player that got the 8 side chicks, y'all on this wing.
Man, straight up, dude.
Y'all got to work that out. Don't come to our these other wings.
He damn
But
sure
even-
could've did it.
We finna keep
But
this
even
team
if he
chemistry
didn't,
going.
even if he didn't, you gave him 3 months to rest his legs.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
they
And
sure
you know
did.
he was shooting around, but he got 3 months
Yes.
of chilling. That's like giving Jordan in his prime 3 months
Mhm.
and then said, all right, we're gonna put you in the finals.
Imagine.
You know what?
So real quick,
Go ahead.
imagine if this hit back when Jordan first came back. Because remember, the documentary is very fresh. He came back with only a few games left in the regular season.
Yeah.
Imagine if Jordan came back now and he was still in that condition.
Mhm.
They would have fucking won. They would have won that
They'd have
ship.
won it again. Yeah,
They would
had
have won that
7.
ship.
Yep. They'd have
Yeah,
definitely
man.
had 7. But that's man. Nah,
Yeah, so-
dude, I'm happy as hell. You know what I mean?
That's a hot take.
Yeah, I'm happy as hell, dude. I've been missing that shit, dude.
So
And I like that. I like that they continue in the season. So basically, it's going to look like they're going to have 2 short seasons. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I don't think they're going to run next season longer. I think they're just starting it later in the year, and it'll be 2 short seasons back to back. But fam, they
I
already-
saw that calendar as well.
Yeah, they already gonna have. Like, I think that when the Spurs won the championship,
Mm-hmm.
that was only 50 games.
Yes.
No, 66 games. But
Yes,
the
yes,
Bucks,
yes.
they're gonna have played that many or more games by the time it's over. So it ain't even right like
And
really
actually,
a need for an asterisk.
yeah, and that's another thing that's why they're pushing so hard to finish, because I just pulled the standings up right now. Actually, Trip, I am wrong. You are right. The Bucks record is 53 and 12.
Yeah.
And the Lakers is 49 and 14.
Yeah.
So technically,
Bucks are
you know what?
The Bucks should just get the champ.
Yo,
And then
can we like send a bunch of hate mail right now to the NBA and tell them that they're not being socially responsible? Milwaukee needs this championship more than the rest of the world needs basketball back. Like,
so
we need
just
this,
give
bro.
Milwaukee the championship, right? And then just do like a big ass NBA March Madness tournament instead of like another season, and then start the next season regular.
Yeah, that's what I'm about. And the funny thing is, and while I'm definitely joking, my personal take is this pandemic has changed the trajectory of who I think was going to win the NBA championship. So I was saying this was the Bucks' greatest chance, and they would not. They will if they don't win it this year, they're not going to win it. Yeah. And I want to go on record of that because this is what I truly believe. But all those things that we were just saying about the Bucks needed this chemistry because they are technically a young elite team. Wow. They're still young. But now you got these teams like Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron was like, I'm going to take those lumps the previous season. We're going to get AD. And he's got championship pedigree with a lot of other people in that organization. But then we can't sleep on the motherfucking Clippers.
Lakers might not beat the Clippers.
Kawhi Leonard, bro.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard also with that kind of rest. Paul George with rejuvenating his body with that kind of rest. That's also dangerous. And quiet as kept, I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan. But the Bucks might not beat Toronto.
They're gonna fuck Toronto up, man.
I don't think so. You know why? Because Giannis is an NBA darling, and it's great. It's phenomenal. And he's got these stories of being like kind of linked to Kobe. But Pascal Siakam is better.
Than Giannis?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Sleep,
absolutely
you
better.
Man.
Absolutely better.
You sleeping. That's
you know why?
Actually, Kawhi was
and he's got a higher ceiling than Giannis. Like, I mean, don't get the NBA hype. Don't let that shit fool you, bro. Siakam is the reason why Toronto beat Milwaukee. It's not Kawhi. No, it's not. Kawhi, because the thing is, when I'm watching them games, I'm like, so it's bad enough. So the thing is, Kawhi was going to give us the business anyway. So it's just like playing Jordan, right? It's just like playing Jordan. And I'm not saying Kawhi is in Jordan's league, but for the sake of comparison.
You can't stop him. You got to stop the other four. I get that.
So you can't let Siakam show up the way he showed up. You can't.
Hey.
You can't. Because that's what led to the Bucks' demise. We know Kawhi was going to kick everybody's ass.
You know what? Where I disagree with you at is on this, man. It wasn't that Kawhi Leonard is not Jordan. It's Giannis is not Jordan.
Hey,
when you stop a team's best player, the other four got to step up.
Okay.
That didn't happen with the Bucks. They success. That wall worked on Giannis, and then the Bucks didn't have any other answer.
That's a whole nother story about the Bucks offense. That's a whole different nightmare.
Kawhi, it would have went the same way against Toronto. Siakam ain't gonna. Nah. I got to disagree with that, man.
To me, he was. He was the X factor
over him all day. But he did. He was able to outperform Giannis in a game or two. Well, no, not in a game or two, but he was able to hold his own against Giannis because he was wore out with what the defense was doing.
I believe one of those games 100%. He outperformed him. I believe one of those games he flat out played better, and that's when it hit me. I was like, So now we don't
But what
know.
you saw though, Speak, you saw Siakam playing against Giannis, but you saw Giannis playing against the Raptors. That's
See,
the difference.
but I'm a basketball junkie. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But we don't talk nuance. Just like when we talk about the Patriots championships, is it the system? Is it whatever? They still got them rings. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I can give you that. Oh, I can just tell you why it happened. I ain't making no excuses.
Yeah. So
I
like
was
for
just
me,
wore out because he was getting beat up on by 4 dudes. But on the flip side, the Bucks couldn't. They didn't have the personnel, man, to be able to triple team Kawhi like the Raptors triple team.
And that's because we needed, and we also needed Middleton to play like
And
Siakam.
All them shots that was falling all regular season, they wasn't falling against.
And on top of that, Paul George saved the Bucks' life, because let's just keep it all the way 1,000. Because and I hope somebody from the Bucks is listening. Eric Bledsoe is a monster in the regular season. In the playoffs,
Maybe.
In the playoffs, I can't find him. And injury, whatever.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is
he was hurt that year.
What I'm saying is
the year before that, you absolutely right.
But what I'm saying is but
he stunk up the joint.
Without that veteran presence of George Hill, and so, which the last thing I'll get away from the Bucks. Coach Bud is good, right? But like when I was living in Georgia, I used to listen to a lot of sports radio. They were like, it was a huge campaign, fire Coach Bud, and it was because he couldn't let go of his conservative style that he gleaned from the Spurs. So when the shit really hits the fan, and now let's just say we're equally matched with Toronto, we're equally matched with Los Angeles, Lakers and or Clippers. Those are the only people who I think are viable championship contenders.
You ain't the only one.
So then it comes down to the coaches.
Right.
And I don't think we got the coaching style to beat another one of those teams in 7 games.
Fam, in Toronto, you saw a dude that made absolutely no adjustments and just said, just keep shooting. Like, fam, this shit ain't working. We got to come a different way. They done figured it out. We're going to stop Giannis from getting dunks and let the rest of these motherfuckers shoot. Giannis was kicking it out. They wasn't hitting. We got to do something different.
Yes.
Nah, just keep doing that.
Yes.
And that's what happened, dude. He don't make adjustments at all. I don't even see him holding the board sometimes in the
think about it. Think about it. Your son plays high school level.
Yeah.
When you were just talking about the previous highlight reel that you guys inadvertently created, and scouts had these questions, so now they know when they bring him to their system, the rest of the world may look at him this way, but we know he's actually a vicious ball handler.
Right.
So while they think they can just run him off of his shot or whatever, so the thing about if these adjustments can be made at the high school level, what at the highest level of all, what makes the Bucks think that they can just, get the ball pass at the will? What the fuck, bro? At the NBA level?
They swore that shit was going to work. You saw in Toronto. They swore it was going to work. Yeah. You just had a bad shooting night.
And you know what happened? With the Bucks, the Bucks ended up that's just like Carlton shooting that whack-ass shot.
Yep. And you know what else happened too? You had a cat, man, when that old, you can't stop him, let him get his, we're going to stop the other foe. Well, when you got a cat like a Kawhi, he ain't really one dude. He more like 2.5 dudes.
Yeah, because he plays both sides of the ball.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, and then like I didn't know much about Van Fleet. But like now he's the new Derek Fisher and shit. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So like for me, when it comes to this NBA shit, as excited as I am, I have to look at this objectively so I can enjoy it, because I don't believe that my beloved Bucks are going to win. I don't believe they're going to win the chip. And I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. That's why I'm putting this shit on record.
You wrong.
But because my thing is like we would have to have the only way the Bucks can win is if they play damn near perfect. You can't play damn near perfect. I haven't seen since like, you know.
There's some truth to that. But because when you don't play perfect,
yes,
you gotta have a Jordan, you gotta have a Kawhi.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have LeBron.
But if we play perfect, absolutely, because I believe Middleton has stepped it up. Middleton has stepped it up. I think the Lopez brothers, with that added element, I think Bledsoe he wants to prove critics like me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, no, motherfucker, I am a dog out here. I am a killer out here. So we would need all of those things to align. We would need DJ Wilson, who sits at the end of the bench, to be like a little shocker off the bench that maybe offers 10, 15 points a game. And everybody, and now he's on the national map. Who the fuck is DJ Wilson?
When they put him in the G League, he'd be getting 30.
Yes.
Have you ever realized he looked exactly like Brittany Griner from WNBA? Dog, if you do a side by side, that's like, God damn, dog. Or she looked like him. Whatever. Anyway.
Oh my
God. I know that shit was random as fuck, man. I'm sorry.
Yo, hey, you know what?
Hey,
you know
man,
what my response?
She paying child support, fam.
Hey, speaking of which, look, fam, bro, it's Pride Month. We are not gonna do that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Pride.
Oh, that's why all the rainbows on the.
I didn't even catch that. I don't.
Oh, so I do want to go on record.
If you know what, that's another question.
What?
That's a question for Jay that I'm asking. That'll be the last question. If we can get Brittany Griner on the show.
No.
I'm gonna ask. No, I want to ask her, dude. No. How do it feel to be the daddy in child support cover? She don't like that shit, dog. She paying child support, man, to another woman.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, dog. I'm just saying, man. I think that's a great
Jennifer Hudson is too.
I'll probably get, but no, Jennifer paying a dude.
Yeah.
Brittany paying a woman.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm sitting here this whole time and I'm listening to the names y'all saying. In my head, I'm like, these niggas gotta be able to fight.
Say more.
Like, listen to the names, man. Like, imagine if we had a nigga at school named Kawhi.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
And what was the other name you were saying, Speak?
Pascal Siakam.
That's that computer language, fam.
Man, imagine
he's from I want to say.
Imagine you in the first
country in Africa.
You're the first was Cameroon, something like that.
You're in the first day. You're in the first day of school at Custer, and you're in homeroom, and the teacher say, "Kasakiakum."
Yeah.
Trip, that's not it.
That nigga name is Pastel Colors, fam.
Look, the teacher not gonna.
He said, Morgan, Mama say, Mama say, Mama kusa.
And the teacher's gonna start that shit.
Yeah,
because you know the teacher not gonna pronounce it right.
Hey, that teacher's gonna be like, she gonna look at it and she gonna say, Jamal, can you come and try to read this? I don't want to get in any trouble.
Yo.
They couldn't even pronounce your name right.
Yeah, they couldn't pronounce my name right. And then on top of that, Trip was an asshole about, hold up, Trip periodically, like per semester, that nigga would move the accent on his first name. You know how you change classes every few semesters, I'm in a class with Trip and he's moved the accent. And I just look across the room like,
man.
Oh, that's what we doing this semester? Like, that's what we on this semester?
That shit hilarious.
And like the same straight face he's always making, he was making that when he was 15, bro.
They'd be like,
with the same beard.
They'd be like, it's Stevenson? I'm like, no, it's Stefan.
This is all.
Hey,
facts.
wasn't that Urkel name when he was the cool dude?
It was. That's how Trip started getting the hoes.
Oh,
Girls
that's
like,
funny, dog.
wait, girl,
Hey, the homie named
this is
his
Stefan
son.
in our school.
The homie named his son Stefan in real life after dude.
Really?
Oh,
After the
wow.
Urkel and shit. Yeah.
He's like, my son is finna get all of the women's.
Dog, stupid dog. Dog said he would move the accent mark.
I swear, every semester, fam, I walk into a class and see Trip, and I'm like, I just sit down. What this nigga name finna be this semester?
He's stupid.
Hey, that nigga would be like, the S is silent. Really? Now the S is silent on your name?
Dog said the S
Have
silent.
fun.
I'm like, hey, that nigga when he graduated, they were like Teflon.
Yeah. Hold on,
Like put
dog.
done on the end. Get it right.
Oh shit. Trip is the original Teflon Don, I swear. It's on his high school diploma.
Teflon done.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, NBA.
I guess that's how serious people gonna take it at this point. Like,
No, it's gonna be fun, dude. It's gonna be fun.
I think it's gonna be a lot of upset people. I think
so?
somebody's gonna be happy, but it's gonna be a lot of upset people because the one thing about team is that when you got momentum and chemistry going,
Yes.
it doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to come back after a break.
That's facts.
And Giannis is different. He's got a baby now. That's a different person. That could be beneficial. He could be more locked in, or he could be like, he's been in loving daddy mode, and he don't come back as that killer. You never know.
Right.
And when is the first game?
31st?
Yes.
No, they go in there 31st.
Oh, so they may not start until sometime sometime in August.
So they're gonna, and I think that's weird too. So like it's the bubble. They're gonna be in the bubble.
Yes.
And once you're in, you can't come out.
Yes.
And I think so. And each team can only bring like 35 people. So you're not finishing the game and then going home to hold your kids.
Right.
That's it's. I think there's a lot of factors.
Ooh, imagine only the elite players can bring their whole family. But
Nobody's bringing their whole family.
If I'm the 12th man on the bench, I can't bring nobody.
No, nobody can bring their own. Nobody can bring their whole family.
Dog, are y'all forgetting what it was like being a daddy when you had babies? Y'all just ain't taking that damn baby with him, man.
You can.
Shit, the baby's gonna be here.
Each team can only, from what I understand, I was talking with one of my coworkers. Each team can only bring 35 people.
And that's players, coaches.
Yeah. That's players,
trainers.
coaches.
Might not be no fan.
It ain't gonna be no fan. And once you're in, you're in. You can't leave. There's no outside visitors. Or if you do visit, I think you got to be quarantined for like 2 weeks before they let you in or something. I don't know. Something he was saying, but like. You think like an NBA roster is what, 12 people deep?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes
so you say 12 people.
Oh, yeah, for the 15. IR and shit like that.
So then you say, and you got to bring the IR because you never know who's going to get hurt.
Right.
And then you say, 4 or 5 coaches. So now you're up to 20. So then you only got 15 other people. The GM is probably going to come. I don't know. And then now you got to think about trainers.
Yeah, you got to have trainers because the players got to get right. So
dietitians.
Yeah, the dietitians because you know what I think they'll do? They'll probably do a combination of team dietitians feeding everybody, and they'll probably house them somewhere else on the resort.
I think Disney is probably going to handle the food part.
Oh, that's a good part. Like that,
yeah,
because they gotta get something out of it too, aside from wow.
Because this is a plus for Disney because they can't really open up and actually get like
this is a nice
beneficial business, right? Because you got the NBA is gonna take up their hotels and then they're gonna use the food. So they're going to get some money like that, but
they should have did that shit here in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
All the-
Disney
all-
gonna get. Well,
all
they
the-
might.
All
This
the
is-
games could have been at Summerfest.
That something might, but the way that that's facts though. But the way that the way that they switching it around, if something breaks with the virus, some new development where everything is cool, they may be able to bring the remaining teams home for like home and away games and shit.
right.
Okay,
On a
okay.
regular basis.
So, and I know it's interesting how, in addition to that, I mean, we don't need to talk about all the detailed, nuanced specs of it. It's really weird how they're choosing the final teams. But another interesting thing is like
they had to do that though, man, because Katz was like, "I'm not coming back for hardly no money to play 15 games, and we don't even have a shot at the playoffs."
Right. And
they
I don't
really got
know.
in a lot of trouble for that.
And let me see. I think I closed off the settings, but I did see that Durant was like, "I'm not coming back." So I'm wondering. Yeah. So yeah,
he
he's
learned
like,
his lesson from coming back too early, fam.
yeah. So I mean,
Right,
players like that.
He hasn't played this year at all, has he?
No,
Right. So and I'm like,
So
I don't think it would be smart for people to push him to come back anyway.
He's playing. He's doing full contact right now, but
he hasn't played in any games though,
no,
right?
not in NBA games. He's doing pick up and working out with the trainers.
That would be dumb. That would be dumb to come back for 15 games.
Yep.
A horrible investment.
Yeah, because the Brooklyn ain't got a shot at a ring.
Yeah.
They don't even have a team.
Yeah. That would be a horrible investment.
And that's because that's another thing because we were talking even on the high school sports level.
Yeah, because they're in 7th position right now, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking high school sports, and we're looking at high school football. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about how if the WIA or whatever doesn't figure out if they are or aren't and what they can do, that they're setting kids up, especially if kids aren't working out, because working out, kids think you just got to be in shape to run up and down the court. And that's really the small part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that working out, that running, those push-ups, that lifting weights, it builds bone density.
Yeah.
Right. And that gives that lessens the number of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think these kids, usually kids are lifting weights, in a good program, they're lifting weights all off season or doing other sports. And then usually even my son's team, they would have started weight room the first Monday in June.
Right.
Oh, wow.
At the school, yeah. But all the schools still closed.
But all the schools are still closed to the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, luckily, my frat bro, my guy Theo, and JG know Theo. Theo is he took it upon himself. He's not even getting paid for it. It's not even through the team. He coaches at King, but it's not through King. He just hit up a bunch of kids and was like, "Look, I'm gonna be at King Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Y'all can come get this work."
Yeah.
Because y'all been sitting down for months. So he got some kids from King, just a couple kids from Riverside, and a couple other random kids, and they just doing speed and agility drills. And he brought the battle rope out there a couple times. So they're getting that in, but and I take junior, and that's needed because you jump, and it's any sport. If you jump back in the sport and you ain't been doing nothing,
especially when you play at the most elite level, that means you're wired a little bit different. I mean, we all can get in great shape, but our great shape and their great shape is not the same.
No,
really not.
It's not the same. So
if you 200 pounds and you jumping to dunk on a 10-foot court, and then that 200 pounds got to come back down to the ground, man, no, you got to be in shape or you going to come down and break something.
A lot of people were talking about it, young Zion as well, because, they were like, well, he just needs to lean up a little bit. And the other people were calling him too heavy, whatever. They're one of the teams. They're still in it. They're one of the teams that can play themselves back into contention.
Mm-hmm.
What's his body fat percentage? Because I keep hearing people say that, but then I remember
it was if I remember, man, it was kind of low. But
that's what I thought too.
To what you saying, Trip, he been carrying that all this damn time.
Yeah, but remember, I heard the way when he got injured, it was because he's such of an anomaly of an athlete that it was just the amount of torque that he put on it that caused that injury. And is not that he did anything wrong. It's just he's so powerful as an athlete. So I don't know.
Right.
It was one of those weird things.
But the thing is, like, you can't say he got to lean up because that's probably a freak accident, because you got to think Shaq was damn near 300 pounds, but he had 2% body fat.
Yeah, when he first came to the league.
Right.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson was a big kid. He only had like a small amount of body fat. And then even if you go from basketball to football and you think about Bo Jackson, Bo Jackson got injured in football not because somebody hit him that hard. Bo Jackson was running.
Yeah.
And when a dude tackled him, he grabbed his foot, but the force that Bo Jackson was running with dislocated his hip.
His hip.
It wasn't that he got hit. Is that he was going forward so hard and fast that when the dude grabbed his leg stayed, but his body kept going.
Dog, that dude.
Did he score?
Not on that play.
No, not that time.
But dude, that dude ran.
I'm like, that nigga scored without a whole foot.
Damn, that dude was that fast, man. I remember that touchdown he ran, man. He ran out the end zone, across the track, and up the tunnel. That dude damn near ran to the parking lot.
Yeah.
It took that long for him to
slow down.
Yeah.
The end zone 10 yards.
And he just
out the back of the end zone.
He had to
across
keep going.
the track it took him that long to slow down. Yo, man, that dude.
And you know
like
what?
Crazy.
I appreciate Bo Jackson because that's the last football game I was ever been able to play.
No, you remember when he ran the wall at Kansas City when he caught that? When he was playing baseball.
When he was playing baseball, he ran up the wall, caught the
ran
ball.
Up a wall, fam.
Yeah. He was
crazy. And they thought that was a home run. Like, dude hit the ball, he dropped the bat, he was walking like, I got this.
Never
this
seen no
dude
shit
up
like
the
that.
wall, jumped, and caught the ball and came down.
So Bo Jackson was an X-Man.
He was
like,
a superhero, man.
He was like, so I don't know. So I think
you think you can break a bat over your leg, Trip?
Hell no, I break my leg.
Them fucking.
He said he can break my leg.
They broke a bat, fam.
Yeah.
I was like that. They should have did that corking investigation on him. Maybe that was one of them cork bats. I don't know.
Yeah, but you saw the splinters. Like, that wasn't no.
That was different, dog.
Yeah, so I think Zion is like, not to compare.
It's 8% body fat.
Who is Zion?
280, 8% body fat.
So
that's the thing. Like these kids, like, even if you start with Shaq, but if you move to LeBron and like these kids are like this is a different breed of athlete.
Yeah,
it is
a different breed of athleticism. Because like, dude, LeBron is a fucking NFL defensive lineman. Yeah. But if you ever saw LeBron in person, the dude is lightning quick.
Yeah, he is. Hey, fam, two things about that. One, Miami Heat, LeBron and Zion, about the same size. Bron was 270.
He was a
Bron was 270
when he was playing super villain in Miami.
And right. And then the other thing, Trip,
remember when Kobe came back like that? When he came back that one year, he was buff as fuck.
He came back buff too.
He was like dominating, and the only reason why he ended up losing the weight, he said, while I am dominating, I'm not elite in these other areas.
Right.
So I'm gonna come back down.
But he only came down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he knew he had to get stronger.
Yeah.
But then the other point, man. So the boy was hooping with some pros at an undisclosed location, and y'all heard of Deontay Burton? He played for Oklahoma City. He from here.
Yeah. He used to play for like a Bayview type of school or something.
Yeah.
Like
He's from here. Now, dude is and this is why I tell everybody ain't no scrubs in the league. It ain't no scrubs in the league, right?
I agree.
Because dude don't get a lot of minutes. But I'm watching him and I'm like, if that motherfucker don't get no minutes, the motherfuckers who do, you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine. Because dude, so he obviously taking it easy. He played with high school kids. I don't know if it was my son or one of the other boys. It was probably my son. Got a shot. A little trash talk, right?
To him?
For about 3 minutes, Dude decided he was gonna play ball.
Just he gave him 3 minutes.
Damn. That I ain't never seen a motherfucker that fast before, dude.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yo.
I don't know him that well, but I heard he's like a freakish athlete.
Fan.
Yeah.
That motherfucker shoot his jump shot, man. He jumped like 8 feet in the air and then shoot. He was
said
just taking it
he
easy
shoots
on
down.
getting the workout. But he like, well, motherfucker, if y'all want to play, man.
He's like, nigga, this a layup.
Fan.
Wow.
That motherfucker took off. I was like, yo, dog, for real? And then, dude, after that game, the boy was like, Pops, I gotta get stronger, Pops. I gotta get fast. You know what I'm saying? But he saw it. Because I'm like, think about it, fam. You saw what my man can do.
Yeah.
And up there, for some reason, he ain't been able to break through yet.
Yeah.
If that dude, you know, and he a jillion times better than everybody in his gym. So, dog, that's what you got to be better than him.
Yeah.
To do what you think it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta start putting that work in. Them dudes is all different, man. So I think what Cass was saying about Zion, for a motherfucker like me with a dad bod, all that shit is true. Zion ain't got no dad. He ain't no dad. That ain't no dad bod. That motherfucker is a tank. There's plenty muscle under that little bit of fat, fam. I think, dude, he gonna be all right. You know what I mean?
I think so too.
He needed a better shoe. That's what he needed.
Yeah, I think he's finding his game. Like the few games that I saw him play, he's seeing, okay, what does my mid-range jump shot look like against these athletes?
Yep.
I think that's what he's figuring out, right? Like everything you just talked about with your son, he's doing that because he just came from college. He's like, okay, I used to be able to get this shit off at Duke.
Right.
But some of this shit ain't working.
It
so
ain't
let
working.
me because like I watched that one game where him and LeBron were playing against each other, and that was interesting. You know how they always have these the NBA hypes up these like passing of the torch type of games. I saw like LeBron giving them some body, like I know you strong, but I'm strong too, motherfucker.
Right.
But I saw Zion like, all right, let's do this.
Let's do it.
And that was very interesting. But motherfuckers thought he was going to be out of shape. And I'm like, or winded against an elite athlete, and he was bringing that shit straight to Bron.
He's an elite athlete too. He just ain't the typical one. But neither was Bron. And then, dog, another testament to what these cats is doing. Bron ain't still supposed to be able to do the shit he doing.
Yeah, Bron is like
35.
He's like 48. Bron is about 48 right now, I think.
No, he's not.
He been around a long ass time. You know what I'm saying?
Bron been in the league since he was 12.
He ain't supposed to be doing that shit.
That, but LeBron only had one real injury.
Yeah, he ain't been hurt.
Like he just had one. What, it was a growing injury.
That was the last year before last, whatever. Right.
That was his first injury, G.
Yeah. And I've heard about him. He does stuff, and maybe I don't know if that's what you're gonna say, Trip. He some players wait until they get older to start taking care of their body. It's being said that he understood that before he got like
it wasn't him
at this age.
It wasn't him.
Who was that?
It was Alonzo Mourning and Pat Riley when he was in Miami.
When he was with the Heat, and they were very big on conditioning.
Yep. If you look at dog, if you look at Udonis Haslem, that motherfucker is still built like a superhero.
Yeah.
Old as he is, all them years, but that's all in Miami. Dude said, "Man, you gotta listen to this Dwayne Wade interview on the Knuckleheads podcast. He was talking about all of that.
Yeah.
You know, Alonzo and Pat Riley was like, you're gonna get you a chef. Ain't none of this restaurant shit. You're gonna get you a chef. You're getting you a masseuse. You're gonna have all this at the crib."
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, they was doing body fat measurements and all of that shit at the team facility at practice. They was regulating cats like that.
Yep.
And that's
what you call it.
But then he fell out with Miami because Pat Riley wanted Bron to bulk up. And Bron wanted to get even leaner because once that shit started working, he was saying what you saying, Speak, man, I feel lighter. I feel more agile. I want to drop a little more weight. And Pat Riley wanted him to stay a little bigger for the mismatches. and that's what kind of one of the reasons they fell out. But that's all that shit
wow!
started.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Pat Riley wanted him to bulk up some more.
Whatchamacallit had that same regimen because I remember when I used to get my hair cut at G's Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, G and Ray Allen was real close.
Yeah, Ray Allen like that too.
He was saying like Ray, they would go out to eat. He said Ray doesn't eat anything but like chicken and fish.
Yep. His restaurant, I think, is vegan.
Yeah, it is.
His restaurant in Miami is vegan. But yeah. That's what some cats do that, fam.
And you know, a funny thing too, that's the last time we saw Shaq play at an elite level because they had conditioning requirements. You had to come into the start of the season in shape.
Yep.
Which it makes perfect sense because, like, you know, now we get a little bit more access on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing too, before we shift away from basketball, remember the one lockout, and when Shawn Kemp got traded to the Cavs, he was still the Rain Man.
Yep.
But then after that lockout, that nigga became the Snowman.
Man.
Like, I mean, he came back like damn near 40, 50 pounds heavier, and it was just kind of like
it's jumpers.
It's not, that ain't rain. That's like at least sleet, nigga.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't.
He was the Snowman, man.
He was dude. It was horrible, and that was the end of his career, pretty much.
Yep.
I mean, he was an elite athlete. The way he played, he was also a freakish athlete, like crazy.
Yeah.
His work was out of this world,
and he was beginning to develop that jump shot.
Yep.
Like he was on his way.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, that lockout, and I don't know, too many ham sandwiches. I don't know what it was, bro. Like I don't know.
Food, mama.
Man. Mama
don't give a damn about no chef. Mama don't care about no nutritionist. Mama
like, out there trapping.
He said you gonna eat these hams and these hops.
Try to eat and walk in the
Mama cook out of love. I'm gonna feed that baby. That 6'9", 240 pound supreme athlete.
Right. You come home, and mama like, why you look so skinny?
Put extra gravy on it. Yeah, that's what it was.
Them chefs ain't feeding you.
Man, and that nigga, he loved that shit because all of us would. He loved that shit. Mama, you cooking? Man.
Oh, man, dude.
My mama makes some macaroni and cheese. I eat that shit for breakfast. Because it's cheesy and full of love.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right
ain't no dietitians cooking with love.
Nah. I notice I ain't say nothing about no damn healthy. That shit cheesy and full of love. That's what I need.
Man, dude. So one of the things too, like I think we're on the tail end of the show, and I think it's so funny. It's a topic or discussion point, but it's not. And you know, we haven't lost sight of what's going on in the world. We haven't lost sight of what's going on in the country. But one of those things, man, it's very, very important to make sure that you can still maintain some level of happiness and some level of peace in your life. This was important to me because I remember the old speak, and I was always too serious. So the old speak would have been like, oh, this James Baldwin quote, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I've been on that. And now these motherfuckers just like, and because I was always so angry and so serious about things that are going on, and I'm just like, but you can fight the good fight and still live a good, healthy life. Because we talked about it before the show started, I can't wake up angry and be angry all throughout the day and then be angry when I go to bed and I go out and I fight the good fight no matter whatever way that is, because I'm going to burn myself out and I'm going to be no good to the people around me. So like, you know, I want to send out love to everybody who's doing whatever they're doing, whether you're on the front lines marching or whether you're supplying these young marchers with water, snacks, whatever. If you're organizing, if you're funding, you know, we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing. I know we all are doing what we're doing. We are planning some things collectively, and we're also doing some things individually. But like, it was really important for us to come in here, man, and just still laugh a little bit, and because you got to take care of yourself. Yes, we are at the tipping point, I believe, and I think this is a different kind of revolution. This one's hitting a little bit different. So if we gonna be in this shit for the long haul, y'all, we can't forget to laugh. We can't forget to appreciate, some of the good things that we have going on, and I just wanted to say that, and gather you guys' thoughts on that.
What do you think, Trip?
So different. I don't want to say it's different. I think I think we've gotten to the point in the fight where, like, you get to that point in the fight where the underdog is like, you know what, you just ain't finna keep beating my ass. I might win, but I'm finna get some licks in. Now, that's the point. I think that's the point we got to. But its response is different. And it's not just Minnesota responding. It's probably the biggest response in unity that we've seen in a long time, because there has literally been protests in every state. There's literally been a protest. There's people overseas protesting this,
18
just injustice. And at this point, you can't. America can't just turn a blind eye, or act like it's not happening. I remember a long time ago, and I'm not Muslim, but I heard, I think I heard Elijah Muhammad giving a speech, and he was saying that the difference is, he said, America preaches integration, but practices segregation. At this point, like, you can't anymore. I know. You can't anymore neglect that's happening. So I think I'm glad that people are still protesting. It's like, what, 9 days strong. I'm glad that certain companies are starting to take a stand. I saw, like, Reebok actually made an ad or a post and said, like, Reebok stands with you and your protests, and that Reebok would be nothing without Black people.
Wow.
I saw whatchamacallit make a statement, but I think his statement is bullshit. The commissioner from the NFL,
Goodell, his statement is bullshit.
I'm glad he made the statement, but I don't believe it's wholehearted. I think that's one of those brand saving statements. Because they could have been on the forefront. NFL,
years ago.
They could have been on the forefront, but I mean, of course, we can't deny that there are some racist people in the NFL, and he sided with those people instead of letting those people protest. Like, these players have been. This is why Colin kids were taking the knee, and they refocused it to get what they want, to make those players villain instead of the victim. So, I'm not saying that people can't change and see the fault in their ways. I don't think his statement was genuine. But we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah, time gonna tell.
Yeah, and I think too, one of the things that, I know I've said it before, and I think we've all said that this is not the time to separate ourselves. Like, I may not personally understand why the marches might be consecutive, or why this march and that march or whatever protest, but it's okay, because the world doesn't need to move on my ideology. This has got to be, if you're part of the fight, you have to understand this is bigger than you. So, like, I don't know, man. I really appreciate what's happening. But then when you talk about evolution, Trip, I remember having, like, this is not the time to be like one group versus another group. I saw a statement, I forgot who said it, but it was kind of like and a lot of people said it actually. Okay, but remember what Jay-Z said, we was past kneeling. I guess we ain't. Yada yada yada. And it's like, okay, we can pick those words apart and and all of that stuff. We can do that, or we can say, this is not the time. We need to galvanize all of our energies in the same direction. This is not the time to say Jay-Z was wrong, Kaepernick was right, and I'm already starting to see a little bit of that.
There's a lot of that.
And it wouldn't concern me as much if I didn't see the importance of this social media justice. I remember before. I can put myself out there. I remember before not believing in social media justice the way that I'm seeing it happening. I remember being ignorant because I just didn't know, because I'm 40. I'm 42. I'm not 20, and I'm not plugged in the way the youth who are actually out here on the front lines are. So like I remember saying certain things, but this isn't the time to go, oh, remember this, oh, remember that. It's like, no, this is not the time to make shit about you.
Right.
No matter who you are. Like, motherfuckers are coming at Jordan, like, okay, black people used to get killed over your shoes. Now you finally starting to do shit?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, bro. Like, I mean, I don't want to be in a judgy space, but so the one thing I will say is that energy is counterproductive. It's exactly what the oppressor wants.
Man, you know what, fam? I'm still anti social media justice. I'm not comfortable with calling it justice yet. I'm just gonna call it outrage. You know, the social media outrage. That shit is definitely good at spreading awareness, but the shit ain't justice. There's too much emotion involved, and judgment is, in a lot of cases, the punishment exceeds the crime. In this case with George Floyd, obviously that's not the case. The motherfuckers are still alive and breathing.
Right. And
in a lot of cases, the social media outrage is an overreaction, demanding another overreaction. And in my opinion, that ain't justice. But I'm gonna let them cook. You know.
So keep that philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and this is because this is where I've lost sight of some things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole Me Too movement was social media based.
Okay, but check this out. Me and you, we 4 dudes here.
Yeah.
Talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to any women in your life, ask them if they feel like things are better right now for women, they're going to tell you the truth. The answer is no. But think about when the last time you saw somebody actually type out #MeToo. They ain't even speaking on the shit no more.
So there's that, but then there's the whole thing about, now, if it weren't for social media, isn't that what sparked getting R. Kelly back under investigation? Wasn't that social media? So like the thing is, I didn't understand.
The documentary did that with R. Kelly, but no, what social media did, what had a lot to do with Bill Cosby, it had a lot to do with Weinstein.
Yeah, so
it had a lot to do with Matt Lauer, with all of that shit coming out. But Matt Lauer ain't in jail. But still.
So I mean, it's still not equal justice.
But what it also had to do with is a lot of motherfuckers get fired immediately. And then we figure out what they did. There was a lot of that shit too.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's why I was saying I would go more with outrage and awareness. It definitely does increase awareness of the issue.
So okay, I'm you know what? I'm totally fine with accepting that terminology. I think that's better. Yeah, I think it's social. I like social media awareness.
Yeah.
And then with the awareness, then you fight for the justice, so it first became the awareness, and then it became the outward act towards justice, and that's what people are physically doing in the communities.
Right.
Okay, I'm rolling. I'm definitely rolling. I'm definitely rolling.
It was. I mean, dog, like they call it for death of motherfuckers on social media for shit that's not punishable by death.
Dude, I was on a phone call yesterday with some brothers in Georgia, and one of the brothers was saying, and I think I sent the article to you guys in the group text.
Mhm.
There is a death similar to George Floyd that happened in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I didn't look through all of the grave details. I'll just be brutally honest with you guys, because I'll be honest, like, I have to take care of my emotional capacity.
I can understand
But
that.
but I see what's happening here is like, while George Floyd's unfortunate death may be the tipping point,
Mhm.
I'm seeing that people are very socially active in media, but as well on the front lines also demanding specific things,
Mhm.
and I'm hearing that. So the beautiful thing for me is people are moving beyond the outrage.
Facts.
And I think that's the beautiful piece. People are actually moving towards action plans.
Mhm.
And I've even said on this podcast before, like, what was the takeaway from like the Million Man March and things like that. It seems like this particular time, there are people being very brave with taking proactive steps, and there's several different steps. So
Right.
I really
My
applaud
thing is,
that.
it's an old Richard Pryor joke, man. He was talking about a shitty gospel choir in his church, his fake pastor church. They had this song called "We Will See."
Mm-hmm.
That's all they said. We will see, we will see. They just kept saying that shit over and over. Right? I done protested, rioted, protested, rioted, marched, protested, rioted. We're gonna see, fam. You putting out a damn tweet, one person putting out a tweet for your whole fucking company today don't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see. You pandering right now.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, they all pandering right now, fam. This shit is too fresh.
Because they nervous.
Right, because they nervous.
Because they nervous
right now. Because I always say, man, my race-dar instead of radar, my race-dar is finely tuned. You know what I'm saying? I know that racism is a poison in the mind. And I know that in order to alter the mind, you got to break the bone. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These people ain't changed. Their minds haven't changed. Their hearts ain't changed. Racism is internal, fam.
Yeah.
It's about the external, but it's born internal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That tweet, the tweet don't change that.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So now I'm not moved to go beyond what I'm feeling right now yet because of what these motherfuckers are doing. And that's from, I'm going to go even further. Not only is it from the corporations and from the ops.
Okay.
Man, I'm not moved by the kumbaya ass Blacktopia shit from us either.
Say more about that, because nobody's really talking about that. Nobody's really talking about that. That's a very good point. So that's a conversation we really, really need to have, bro. Because I get that racism.
Gotta have it.
I get that racism is not just a black thing, and white people gotta step in. But this shit.
Yeah, man.
Go.
Wakanda ain't the answer either, dog. That shit ain't gonna work. I do. It's like, okay, we're gonna outrage, we're gonna protest it, even if we came up to the table and sat down with the enemy to hash all this shit out. Our demands, our turn, dog, that shit ain't practical. It's euphoric, man. It's like dreams. Dog, hold on, man. I don't want Wakanda. You dig what I'm saying? Why do I have to go somewhere else and build a country when I already built this motherfucker right here? You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Dude, and if we come with too much we want Wakanda shit, and I'm just paraphrasing here,
For sure.
Wakanda is
but we know exactly
all black just for us over here. Right. That's just our shit right there. Y'all can't dog. We got to do better than that. That's our responsibility.
Yeah.
Because like I said, man, there's 4 people on this show and there's 9 black agendas on this show. That shit ain't going to cut it.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do better than that. So we got to regulate our part of it too, dude. Go ahead.
And that's the part where that one Killer Mike quote went viral when he was about, plan, plot, strategize, which kind of like I thought he was feeling like quote Tupac. I thought he was going to say
Right.
bomb first,
Right.
but then he said mobilize.
Right.
I was like,
Dog.
that mobilize part. People forget that
They
part
forget.
because you can't mobilize for a cup of coffee, bro.
Nope. Dude, you know what, Speak? We got diplomacy, actual diplomacy from us and from the ops. Actual diplomacy. Diplomacy starts with a willingness to reach a resolution. That's got to be the first step, right? Actual, real diplomacy or war.
Yes.
Not metaphorical war, not like how motherfuckers be saying
No, real war.
Is war. Motherfucker war.
And then like and
that's
how,
all
and
you or shut the fuck up and fall back into your
like?
regular life.
Yeah, what does that war look like too? You know what I'm saying? You know,
No.
it's crazy to me. It's really weird because we gotta have something. We gotta move towards something. But I think it's very, very important. I think it's very, very important that we don't get too pie in the sky. I think
that's what I'm worried about, Speak, because it's like this, man. Right now, the protest and the outrage, that's the young man's game. That's the young warrior's game. He is going to be in this world longer than me.
Yep.
Right? So I understand his rage. I understand he want all this bullshit over with now, and I get that part, right? That motherfucker is needed. I ain't going to say you shouldn't be tearing up your own neighbor. Man, fuck all that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Do whatever it is you feel. Now, when it comes time to the diplomacy, that's when the old heads step in.
And
not saying that the old heads are better than them, but dog, I'm already here.
Especially if I'm in that room, yes. Yeah. If I'm in the room, talk to me. Let me know what y'all want.
I got you.
Yes, and
that's the thing. See, but now here go the problem, Speak. I gotta actually have his back.
Yes.
Dog, I'm in this boardroom. You relay your rage to me, and when I go in that boardroom, this is what the fuck we gonna do. Now, I'm not coming in that boardroom on some old, well, you know, maybe if we... No, I ain't none of that shit. I truly represent us. You dig what I'm saying? But that's diplomacy, fam.
And I think that's what it's going to take. I believe we will get there. I believe that what's going to happen is it's going to be different groups that will push different things. I've heard everything from, you know, let's pull money from the police department and invest it in mental health, invest it in these different things. I'm not disagreeing with that. Right. I've heard, you know, let's demilitarize, you know, the police, like like they're moving too much like military. Like we saw, like I forgot exactly where that was. Recently, somebody died because the Minnesota cops were driving by tear gassing people.
Yeah. Well, here's something that it's that. First off, a lot of that's not true. Secondly, I think that let's move money here and do that. I think people are already getting away from the issue and they're already jumping into their personal agenda. The issue is people are being treated unjustly.
Yep.
Yes.
People are being, you know, tried and executed on the sidewalk. That's the issue.
For sure.
All the other stuff like the mental health, and I'm not saying nothing against mental health, because people with mental health issues do need to have treatment, but moving money from the police force to mental health does not stop people or police from killing people on the street. That's not going to solve our problem. So I that's one of the ones where people jump into a fight and then they interject their own agenda on this is what we need to do. The whole thing about the police moving like the military, that's clearly somebody who has no understanding on the military, because the military cannot just if the military is stationed in Iraq, in a city in Iraq, they can't just kill people.
They don't do nothing until they're told to.
Because if they shoot somebody or they use force on somebody, they have to then justify that force. We're talking about people that are doing stuff and then not having to justify it. Had that been a military dude that killed that dude like that, and that video came out, dude would have already been tried and sentenced. Like,
and they also have their own internal, like, regulating entity.
Justice, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but
the police are actually
right.
And I've heard military people say this before, but the police actually have a lot more leeway to do stuff than the military.
Remember when them soldiers got in trouble for taking the pictures with the soldiers they had in the prison over there?
Oh yeah,
them and all of that shit.
Yeah.
The motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The U.S. soldiers, they got in a lot of trouble for that shit. Motherfuckers were getting court-martialed or whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
Pictures with a motherfucker like because the nudity, being embarrassed was so to those prisoners that the humiliation was some sort of form of fucking terrorism against them. You know what I'm saying?
You get kicked out the military.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And I appreciate that because the thing is, what I feel like what we're doing is, I feel like we're brainstorming. Mm-hmm. We're also moving past urban legend and rhetoric.
Yeah.
And then when we move one way, somebody says something like, okay, y'all, but remember, we're driving down this road. We gotta stay. We have to stay on the right road because, like you said, that there are people that are already like, okay, if we want to keep it all the way real, there are people, and I'm not judging, it is what it is, that are leveraging this to, okay, I can fund my program now.
Definitely.
I can use this as
a... Be that. I always tell cats, man,
and I'm not saying it's bad or good, I'm just saying it is.
Man, the ops ain't worried about no revolution because they already know the cure to the revolution. You know what that is? I'm going to throw money to half of y'all.
And that's what the NFL did, and
then we good. That's what they did.
And I'm on record saying, I felt like they weren't going to do anything. So at least by them putting up money, they did more than I thought they were going to do.
But
I thought they weren't going to do shit.
But see, if you and I are the revolution, and they give money to you, now you and I are in opposition.
Yeah.
Because you want to protect your funding source now.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do. So they're not worried about a revolution at all. What we need to focus on is what we all having. There's commonalities of black man and woman. That's what we need to focus on. But still, the thing is, like I was saying the other day, fam, after the protests, after the riots, after the cleanup, after the businesses reopen or relocate, because some of them will, after all of that, that's when the work starts. That's when it starts. This ain't this ain't the work, fam.
We do gotta keep pushing, bro.
That's when the work starts, because I want what the goal ain't just to get justice for George Floyd. We already halfway there. Them motherfuckers in jail. We already halfway there. The goal is for my grandson to sit on my knee and say, Papa, what was racism?
Yes.
That's the goal.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What was oppression? That's the goal, fam.
Man,
me throw up in.
Yes.
Hey, man, whatever you want, whatever you work for, that's what you're going to get. It's going to be bullshit free on your path.
And you know, the cool thing is, I believe some of these young up-and-coming leaders, I'm going to be honest with you, they get it. I'm fortunate to be around some young leaders, and they're not just coming to the table with just their emotions.
Right.
They're also, some of these young, even some like high school age, they're also very well informed.
Yep.
And then on top of that, so now you're very well informed of not only like constitutional laws, but then you're also aware of like your rights as a citizen and the way that they're moving out here. And that's why, this is a perfect example of, even in the sake of music, it should never be young versus old. Right. It should be us. It should be all of us, because we all have a role to play.
Yep, we all do. And that's the part I think that people are forgetting, dude. I'm not anti-young. You know?
That's like
I'm just glad that some of them are realizing. I wish all of them did, but some of them are realizing that destroy and rebuild philosophy is some bullshit. Dude, this system works. The people in it do not. If your young righteous ass was in a position of power, what do you think that organization that you are in control of would be doing out in the world? You wouldn't be out here oppressing nobody. That's not what you do. That organization will be used in what, in the manner it's supposed to. So the youth are starting to see when all this shit was designed, all this shit was written, we weren't represented, fam. We weren't in power. We had no say at all.
Yep. But
now when you walk around in those boardrooms, in those courtrooms, you know what I'm saying? Why are we still complaining about justice, man, when I'm looking at the bench at a black judge? We in there.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we need the right people in those
meanwhile,
positions.
and while they're doing that, now we, for example, are at our jobs in our corporations.
Yep.
Like, okay, because now I'll be real, this is our job.
Yep.
Now, like, okay, my employer says they love me and they appreciate what I do. So now we can begin to have these conversations in the workplace about, like, okay, are we really for the people or are we not? And
the last thing I said in the meeting at my job was, why am I the only one? Still, I've been doing this shit going on 30 years. Every company I go to, I'm still the only nigga that work there. Why is that? I'm the only nigga in Wisconsin that can do heating and air conditioning in buildings.
Yeah. And the thing is, and
if you are what you say you are,
and that's powerful, bro. That's powerful, man.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of stuff that these cats need to get. Dog, you don't have to destroy the system. You can use it.
Yeah.
Is here is powerful. You got use that power. And because the alternative is what? Destroy it and then what? Build another one? Do you know how to do that?
Yeah.
And if you do, us three, we gonna agree on that. Us four, we gonna agree on how to build that. What? You get what I'm saying?
Look, Make Another Hove hit real different right now, right?
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't another Hove, bro.
It's like, no, motherfucking dog. You done came in my house. You done conquered my house. You threw me out. Now that I have convinced the world how wrong you are, you tell me as a settlement, you will allow me to go down the block and build another house? That's not a fucking settlement. Bitch, I want my house back.
And you ain't got no tools? No nothing. Just go.
I want my house back, though. I built this one. You can get the fuck out and give me my house back.
Yeah, man.
That motherfucker work. I know my head don't get wet in there. I've been in there.
Right.
You know
and that's why, and I applaud the organizations too, because there are some organizations that are moving beyond their social media state.
Yes.
And that should not go unnoted.
Right.
There's some people that, like, one of the things that I say at work very, very often, because my job is rooted in the community. Right. My job is rooted in fighting systemic oppression on one level or the other. So at work, I say anytime I can get in a room with very important people, I always talk about walking the talk.
Right.
I say that very, very often, and I mean it, because I'm like, are we doing this or are we not? I'm gonna do anyway. But it would be great. It would be great for something like this to happen, and then now everybody is at their workplace looking at the, because don't organizations have, what is it called? Social responsibility?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's take this social responsibility off paper and put it into action.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so I really,
and we know what the actions are, fam. I mean, we can just keep it 100, man. Like, none of us want. I don't know fucking handout.
Yeah.
You know what I want? Get the fuck out of my way.
You know what I do want? I do want my student loans to be like expunged.
Well, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. And if y'all want to do that, cool. But that's not on my list of demands.
I want to get a text message by the end that when I say the last word of the end of your podcast, get a text message that says, "Speak. Your balance is 0."
That'd be nice. I just want the bullshit out the way.
I'm like,
man. I just want to know that when I walk in the bank, only reason my credit my loan got denied is because my credit score wasn't high.
Because my credit, like, not
That's
no other
it.
reason. Yeah.
That's the only reason.
And I
Yeah.
want my credit score not to be high because I didn't pay my bills.
Right.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you guys know, but we kind of been in
right.
this pandemic, so niggas ain't been able to pay bills. Like,
I want to know that I didn't get the job because I wasn't qualified. For the promotion because I wasn't qualified. You dig what I'm saying? That kind of shit. To get the bullshit out of it. And everybody know what the bullshit is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't got a front on that, dog. Just get that shit out of the way.
Right.
Dog, I come to you like here's one. It shouldn't take. I shouldn't be able to come to you and tell you 150 black people were murdered by the police, and you only believe me after 151.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? That kind of bullshit, fam. Y'all so like what you were saying, speak about liking what the corporations are doing. I'm saying it's gonna take longer than that for me to accept or honor that shit because it's taking you this long. It took all the way up to George Floyd for you to realize, hey, there's some shit wrong here. I'm like, hold on, nah, motherfucker. So either in your mind, either I've been lying all this time, or all of those people got what they deserved, and this is the one that was unjustly treated. And both of those stances are bullshit to me.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting this change, man. I'm gonna need to see more. So that's what I was like, we will see.
And the last thing I will say about this, and then Trip and Demon, if you guys have something to add, definitely, is that we also like, what's the best way I can say it? I believe, because I remember saying this when I was young and people thought that I was crazy, but I don't think you should be in any political office at all. You shouldn't be in any political office from alderman all the way up to president and don't have something in your whole campaign about like a full plan about what your campaign will do. Because you know how we keep talking about what are the ideas and how this is going to happen, and you know we always talk about voting, yada yada yada. So if I'm voting for alderman, if I'm voting for mayor, governor, senator, rep, every single person that we should be checking in the fucking box should be saying something about this. And if you do not, and I don't know why we as a country are like, nobody's saying this out loud, or not enough people with bigger platforms are saying it. If you do not, then you are complicit. If you're not doing anything against systemic oppression, institutionalized racism, if there's nothing on your campaign about it, you are for oppression.
You have to be.
Every person. I'm like, motherfuckers talking about recall the mayor. You motherfuckers just put him back in.
Put him back in.
So like, fam, like, everybody is complicit. Everybody that we done voted for, all this shit. If y'all not talking about it, y'all are the problem.
Yep.
Because it just can't be one small, let's just say us four, we're an organization and we're fighting a good fight. It can't just be us four alone ain't gonna change no laws. We ain't gonna change the way the police are doing X, Y, and Z. We're not. But these people in these offices that say they're supposed to speak for us, why are they not speaking about this? That's why, like, and maybe it's because I grew up in a household that, like, I didn't learn the importance of politics until I got into social services.
Okay.
I didn't, nobody taught me, you know, you go to high school, you take these classes, and you even some in college, but to understand the real reason why we do this shit, because the way I came up, I think after I found out that the government killed King, I was like, and Malcolm and Fred Hampton
and a few others,
you know, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. I'm like, I was very like, I don't trust them. I was conditioned to not trust any politicians. I was conditioned to think that they're all just all talk. So, in addition to me while I'm talking about all this shit, it can't just be talking about this shit. They actually got to put something in action when they get elected.
Yep. Dog, I looked at that shit like when you met your wife, the first thing you ever said to her, that's why she turned around and listened.
Yeah.
The rest of the shit you said and did is why she's still there.
Yep.
Dig what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm okay, man. I'm glad that all these companies are putting out Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll turn around, I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna watch. And that's gonna determine whether what you do now will determine whether or not I fuck with you.
I
You
like
know what
it,
I'm
man.
saying? It's like, dude, that shit ain't enough. This motherfucker's dead, dog.
Yeah.
People are dead. You saying Black Lives Matter ain't enough.
Nope.
Bitch, I already know that.
Yeah.
Bitch, I've been telling you that.
Yeah.
What else you gonna do? That's all you gonna do? Just say that?
Man, I posted a song, you know how you like I added it to like background music. It was a song off Scarface album, The World Is Yours.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the song is called I'm Black.
Yep.
And I love that album. I remember that album first came out. That's when I was like, okay, Scarface is the truth for real.
Facts.
But like the way he describes in his scene when he's talking about the officer, I mean, The World Is Yours came out in the late 80s, is it? Late 80s or very early 90s?
It was early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
And that verse depicts exactly what continues to happen.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, I mean, I just think we gotta make sure that this action is sustainable. It's not a moment, and that we don't get too pie in the sky that we lose sight.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So as we move to closing remarks, it doesn't have to, it can be about this, it can be about anything. We talked about a lot of great shit today. We had a lot of great laughs. Shout out to DMX.
Yeah, first dog.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? Shout out to DMX, you know, for providing some comic relief. And, you know, I thought it was really, really dope that we got to come here, man, and really connect, talk about some important shit, but then also get back to the happiness. So, Dima, any last words for the people?
Man, I think last show, I don't know if it was you, Speak, or Trip, recommended watching the blue-eyed brown eye experiment.
I think that was Trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I checked it out this week, and it's just interesting to me, like, and I think a lot of people have these, like, not even blinders, just natural misunderstanding of their understanding. And I can't believe me being 35, it took me 34 years, 34 and a half, 35 since I'm going to be 36 now this year. I think I'm finally realizing, like, I didn't understand, even though I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's what we as white people have to get past.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't necessarily, we can empathize, but we cannot, and we will never understand.
Wow.
But
it was interesting, but like I want to move away, and I want to get past it. I want to educate people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So something in me has changed, and I think it took like even up to seeing the experiment.
Yeah.
Damn. I really, I could maybe try to like empathize or relate, but I've never have and will never experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damon, you ever seen that movie School Days? Spike Lee movie?
Mm-mm.
School Days? That's another example, but a lot of people don't know about that one. It's all black people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it until a bunch of years later. That movie came out in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically about
it's pretty much
in college.
But it was really, the underlining thing was like light-skinned versus dark-skinned.
Yeah, it was light-skinned blacks versus dark-skinned blacks.
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people don't know is Spike Lee did that experiment too while he was making that movie.
Ooh.
Light-skinned actors and actresses stayed in a better hotel. They had better food, even on the set. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I ever knew that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Spike Lee he talked like nicer to him when he was giving them instructions, when he was directing. And he said, and with the guys, there was a couple fights on the set of the movie because he wanted the animosity to appear genuine in the movie.
Wow.
Wow.
Bro, I never knew that.
Yeah, that shit is effective as hell, bro.
I never knew that.
They did the experiment.
School Days. School Days is the name of it.
Days. Hey, but Days is spelled D-A-Z-E.
Yes.
And but you won't see that in the movie.
Right.
Now that I told you, when you see
the acting,
you'll understand it, man. It was like, dude, yeah, he actually did that shit.
Wow.
I did it thinking that's what he said. You know, I thought some of it was funny, but I thought it would create that tension because that tension would come out in the movie, and it did. But
wow,
he was like,
I did not know that.
There was a few fights had to be broken up and all kind of shit. That shit is mad effective, fam. It's definitely a learned behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The thing where the hate comes in, my opinion, is if you are a person who is racist and you know where that shit comes from, in my opinion, the hate is in you putting that on the next generation. The hate is in you teaching it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the problem I got with it. But yeah, man, now watch that one too, man. It's gonna trip you out. Because after I heard that from Spike, I wouldn't watch the movie again, and I was like, "You could almost."
I might want to go rewatch that movie because I can think about certain scenes now that may just have a different kind of an impact. That's pretty interesting.
That dude definitely did that shit. It don't take much. And my closing arguments would be like to Dima, not just Dima, but to anyone who's white. You don't have to convince your black friends. They already kind of know, right? If they thought you was Archie Bunker type motherfucker, they wouldn't be your black friends.
Yeah.
Talk to your own people. Like when Dima was talking about how he wants to educate people, he's not talking about us. He's talking about his people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what's required, fam.
Yeah.
Because the 150 that I mentioned before, I just made that number up. All the black people who were killed at the head of the police before George Floyd, they didn't have any value to the people who didn't believe us.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That wasn't a man. He was a thug. He was a criminal.
Yeah.
He should have complied. All of that shit. Dude, I was watching Van Jones on Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. Van Jones said, I've never heard anybody say, my kid is a drug user. He should go to jail for 20 years.
Right.
Nobody's ever said that. What they do say is, your kid is a drug user. Your kid should go to jail for 20 years.
But my kid
is different.
Yeah.
He a good boy. He missed something. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, fam. Until they look at George Floyd like he's a human instead of a black dude who was a thug and his criminal record and all. If that's all you are, and we had that conversation before, dude, but it's like if that's all you are, then that's why the problem continues. That's why I say you got to change the mind and the heart of the people. Mm-hmm. And that shit gonna take a hell of a lot more than some fucking tweets, man, from the company you work for.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or whatever, man. But like I said, after these protests, that's when the fucking work gonna start. And it's probably gonna take us to go talk to our people about what it is we really want. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna take Dima to talk to his people about why the shit they doing is wrong.
Yeah. And the thing is, and we have in addition
then we come back together and we work that shit out. My
Yeah,
fault. Go ahead,
because
speak.
in addition to the emotional outrage and outcry and the historical trauma linked all the way back to slavery, there is now data that supports this.
Yeah.
So this won't just be an emotional fight. We have data to support this. I mean,
You know why we got that data to speak?
Because too many of us had to keep dying.
Because of you. Because there are now black men and women in the fields that generate that data. Before we were in those fields, they weren't looking for, nobody gave a fuck, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Now, because of you, cats like you dig what? I know it's the reason why I say all that speak is because in the black community, if you I'm sure you're aware, there's a movement to get rid of the quote unquote a seat at the table.
Oh, for sure.
Philosophy.
For sure.
They think that's all bullshit. It's not.
And man, I'm looking at
it's bullshit. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. If you weren't in the position you're in right now, we wouldn't be hearing what you're saying right now.
You're right, man. And that's why that's why I go back to everybody has a role. We are not here to argue about what one person is doing is more important than another person. I'm guilty of being that guy. This whole thing has taught me about my personal growth, and I have learned how narrow-minded I have been about some of the same shit that I'm so passionate about. I can see now how narrow-minded I have been just as recent as maybe about 3 years ago. When this cap shit was popping off, the way that
argument, fam.
Yeah, the way I think now. The way I think now is nothing related, is nothing close to how I used to think then. And it's like, and that means, and then so when you really do that self-evaluation we were talking about a couple podcasts ago. Now I got to check myself and realize how I too have been conditioned. I'm black, I'm for the struggle, but I too have been conditioned. In some ways, I have allowed my mindset to be watered down. So like I now find myself in a position where I'm unlearning some of my shit so I can show up better this time. You know what I'm saying? So what you got, Trip?
You need to do that.
I'm cool. Man.
You cool?
Trip spoke a lot, man. He spoke a lot today, dude.
Yo, the funniest shit, dude. Like, I mean, Trip is just, I think, you know, when you can change your name every few semesters, you know what I'm saying? You can afford to do that.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that triple dipple shit funny. I'd have put that shit on the teacher book.
Big triple dipple.
Triple dipple? Here. You know what I'm saying? Present. That shit's funny, dog.
Oh, man. Yeah, man, dude, as we bring this shit to a close, y'all, I just want to, if you're tuning in, thank you. These podcasts, these conversations are very important. We're going to continue to do our role. We're going to continue to have provocative conversation because we have to challenge each other's thoughts so we can all get better. And if you're willing to get to a better place, you're willing to come with a set of objectivity. You know what I'm saying? So,
Trip, I need a shirt that says Black Lives Matter, racism don't.
All right, I got you.
Got me? Bet.
I like that. I like that. Well, again, guys, per
usual. My God. I got Karen at work yesterday, fam.
What?
Friday. I got Karen at work, fam.
Hold up.
Dude.
You got Karen at work?
I got Karen at work, fam. I was so fucking mad, man.
What had happened?
Dude. So we're dealing with a death in the family. My wife's brother passed away. Rest in peace, Shannon Smith. And so I pulled up to the job site and I was sending off some texts regarding arrangements and shit. So I just pulled off to the side. Karen comes out of the building. You know, she walks and she look at my van. And then she walks and she look at the van about 3 times. And then she goes in another door. This building's shaped like a U. You can come out in the back here and go across the parking lot. You know what I mean? One of those. So she goes into, the thing. I'm texting. And somebody texted me some bullshit, so I'm looking like I'm doing what it is. Here we go. And when I look to the side, Karen's standing in the door.
In your door?
No, she's standing in a door, glass door. In
Okay,
the
gotcha.
She's looking at the van again. Right?
Yeah.
So I finish the text. I pull up to, start unloading my tools and shit. I open my door, go around to the back. Karen comes out the door. She's looking at me. She looked at my shirt, got the company logo on it, and then she goes in the building again. Soon as about 30 seconds after about 2 minutes after she goes in the building, my phone rings. It's the maintenance director for the building. And he's like, Jay, are you here? I said, yeah. And he says, are you in the work van? I said, yeah, dude. He knew I was coming. He's like, when I said, yeah, I'm in my work van. And he says, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Right? So he's like, I'll call you back. So I'm all right, cool. So I get my tools, I go up on the roof. Maintenance director come up. He says, man, I'm sorry, man. I don't. So he's telling me this because they're gonna change a policy now. So he's telling me, he's like, man, he said, man, I'm sorry. Somebody sent out an email about a suspicious van. Now, my van
got your company logo on it?
Right.
That big, y'all seen the work
letters with the
that shit is green.
It's ready to go to work.
It say JG job on it.
Red, white, and black letters all on the side, and the phone number, all three sides. Big.
How am I driving? All that shit. Yeah.
Right, big huge ass van. My shirt got the same fucking logo on it. Right. He's
wow.
Like, he said somebody sent out an email about a suspicious van in the parking lot. And, he said, man, I tried. He said, I replied that, I knew who it was and you were, I knew you were coming and all of that stuff. And he said, man, look, man, they're probably going to start asking you to sign in a sheet or something when you get to the site from now on.
Wow.
Which I never had to do. And I'm like,
wow.
Now normally what I do is he'll text me directly and then I'll reply and go and, I'll be there at this time and I'll go do what I got to do. I got keys. I got my fob so I got access to every door in the fucking building. I don't know if this chick is new or not. I know people on staff by name, all of that shit. I am the safest Negro that has ever set foot in that building.
Oh.
I've already been vetted, Karen.
Like literally, background checks have been done.
All of that.
Did
not matter, dude. Because I pulled in the parking lot to send out a couple of texts. I was in my van. Okay, so to give Karen the benefit of the doubt, I was in my van sending out texts and emails for about 40 minutes. That's how long it takes for me to not be an HVAC worker. Now I'm just a suspicious nigga.
In an HVAC truck.
In an HVAC truck.
Hold up.
That's what niggas do.
But
we steal work vans and then we go to job sites.
But you don't just steal the van. You have to steal their uniform too.
Yeah, I had to steal the uniform of a nigga my size.
And their keys and their fob. And you have to have built a relationship.
Dude, have you ever seen
for years?
Y'all got key fobs at work, fam? Y'all got key fobs at work, fam?
Yes.
Do the key fob have a fucking address on it?
It does not.
How the fuck would I know what building to go to, fam?
Wow.
Wait,
how the hell would I know?
Are you the only one who services this building?
Yes. Yep. If I'm on vacation,
what's the guy's name? Who's the director?
Huh?
What's the guy's name?
I'm not saying. He's actually on my side.
I know.
Yeah.
The problem ain't him, but when you think about it though, he's gotta do the most or do what's required for his employees too.
Who else is in the building?
But you know what that sound like though?
It's gonna have to sign in.
That sound like that's
you better call him back and say, I'm sorry, there's a lawsuit coming. If
I mean, you know who,
and say, hey, sign right here.
Yeah.
You've been
Dude,
served.
Dude, this policy
You could
sound
sign
real.
smiling and then fucking.
Well, not
Yeah.
no. It's gonna be. Well, they're gonna do. They would have to do all the contractors because you're right, D.
Exactly.
If I'm the only guy signing in,
Yep.
it's gonna be a fucking problem.
Oh yeah.
It sounds
Right?
real
So
true.
now that I hope they.
Yeah.
Show me.
Smarter than that.
You should ask them for a copy of the company
Yeah.
policy and
Yep.
see how they're treating other people.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Before I do, you're right. Now that I will do.
Yep.
this sound real like
I
I
Drew
want to see
Brees
your new
like.
policy
It
in your
just does.
book, and then see what it says, and I'll
Right.
start signing.
Yep.
Especially during this climate, that's so tone deaf.
Man.
Right.
She was,
During this
she was
climate-
scared you was gonna
Karen had a talking
you was
to,
gonna riot and loot the building.
and you should never have received a fucking.
Hold up. Hold up.
Something.
The email said there's one black guy wearing a shirt that matches his van. He's gonna burn the whole thing down. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I don't know what it was, fam. But I'm like,
Oh my
dude, she
God.
had to see me open the gate with my fob. She had to see that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
I just found it on the ground and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dog, it's so, man, I'm telling you, dude, it's so, but that shit is ignorance and fear. I don't know her. We didn't exchange any words. So to just the human that I am,
Yeah.
I can't say there was hatred involved,
I can.
but I will say it was definitely fucking ignorance. Which, and to me, man, hey, dog, that's actually as bad, if not worse.
Because
That's definitely ignorance.
we were
And
just
even if it was fear,
yeah.
there was no justification for it.
No.
But
A
I would
policy change,
even
bro.
a little fear, I would put at ignorance. Some people might say the fear was hate. I don't know. I think hate, man, I would have to have some other interaction with her to hear something out of her mouth that would make me convinced that it was hate.
You know what she would say? I have black friends.
Yeah. And that's the ignorance. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
man.
what do you mean? I have coffee with Tanya.
Yeah.
The
I
fuck
was
out of
just
here,
like,
bro.
yo, for real, man. It's the lack of familiarity. But my reply to her would be, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Who
man.
the fuck are you that I have to be okay for you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
You're not
those-
even the person who decides if I come to this building or not. Why the fuck do I have to be okay to you?
And
Fuck
those
you.
are the folks. Those are the folks that need to be called to the carpet now.
Yep.
Those are the
Yep.
folks. I mean, because everybody else, we talked about all this self-discovery work that we're
Mhm.
doing and
Mhm.
how we're trying to evolve. But people like that,
Yep.
those are the folks that need to get called they need to get put on trial now.
Yep.
That's what's going to create long-lasting change. Is because
Exactly.
you shouldn't. I'm no longer going to accept ignorance
Mhm.
as an excuse
Yep.
for being racist.
Yep.
I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that was, and it's just like, and there's countless stories like that.
Dude, these motherfuckers are thinking they Shaggy and Velma and them and shit, fam. Like they
Dude.
solving Scooby-Doo mysteries or some dog.
Yo, I'm gonna be real.
Dude, I'm not like on 24, dog. I'm not a terrorist disguised as a fucking HVAC worker that's gonna try to blow up the fucking building.
Bro, it happens over and over again.
Yeah,
And I mean,
times, fam.
it's just one of those things where you gotta, hell, that happened to a Milwaukee Bucks player. So, I
They
mean,
motherfucking famous.
in a mug. So I'm like,
The tallest thug gangster I've ever seen.
I mean, like,
It's just 'cause I'm a ball
like
player.
we saw he was over 6 feet and we just assumed he would jump the fence. Like, what the
I've
fuck?
never seen a thug that was 6'12" before.
Like,
dude,
come
what
on, dude. Like, I mean,
the-
so that's why for me, I'm like, no, I'm no longer going to accept ignorance as an
I'm with you.
excuse
I can
of
respect
just-
that.
of blatant just racism.
I can respect
It
that.
just flat out racism, bro. Like, if we gonna be anything, we gotta be honest. We
Yeah.
have to be honest the whole way. And it's sad but true. There's more and more situations like
I
this. So
feel you. That's a good point. Yep, I can accept
yeah,
that.
man. So as we bring this thing to a close, you know what I'm saying? Again, this has been episode 32, a good one. Check us out on all streaming platforms as far as our shit is concerned. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on Facebook as well. And you can find the shows also on YouTube. So thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, we couldn't care less, but we fucking love y'all.
Yeah.
Melodrama Podcast. Peace.
Peace. I got to write that shit down in case I got to say it one time. I'm going to fuck that up. I'm going to probably just say, like, man, fuck y'all.
Peace.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold up. That's the abbreviated ending of the show.
Yeah.